Hi, Tiago Bessa. Thank you for joining Narcissus. How's it going over there in
Hi,
Portugal?
thank you so much for having me. Everything's going just fine. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Who's Tiago Bessa? Soul Deep. Where did you grow up and how did that shape you?
That's a banger to start with, let's say. Um, I don't know if I know who I am so deep, you know what I mean? I'm sort of having an identity crisis, quarter life crisis, but I'll tell you where I grew up. Maybe it will provide some insight. I grew up in Guimarães, which is a very, it's a small town. I think it's a mix of suburbs and a bit of rural,
Mhm.
But I grew up mostly in my mother and my grandmother's atelier, My grandmother is a seamstress and my mom is a pattern maker. So I sort of grew up in that environment for like years.
What's your sign and how do you feel it reflects who you are?
Um, I'm an Aries.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Um, but honestly, I feel like only some people might think it makes sense that I'm an Aries. Because I think I am what they call like not asleep, but I'm not really connected with my full Aries potential yet. Does that make sense? But yes, I do have that fire from the Aries, and yes, it makes sense.
So what was the exact moment when you were like, "Oh, I'm doing fashion"?
I think that moment happened to me like twice in my life, like I think when I was a kid, I knew I was gonna do fashion because, that was my environment. But, I come from such a small town and it's not really seen as a safe option, you know what I mean? Like arts in general are not a safe option. Like you're not gonna have a job after. Um, so like kind of drifted apart. I was actually a science student in high school, so that's interesting. And and yeah, like during high school, I was not doing well because I couldn't care less about science, honestly. Not entirely true, but it wasn't just for me. And then it was my parents actually who told me maybe you should go back to your roots. And after that, it was nonstop.
You titled the collection Hermaphrodite, a word used against you. Is this collection more about reclaiming that insult or exposing the wound it left?
I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of it's yeah, I think so because like the word was not used like against me, like nobody was calling me Hermaphrodite. They were just um like always asking me like are you a boy? And this came much stronger later in life. Like when I was 18, 19, I started growing my hair and then they started using that word to me, against me, being like, oh, what do you have between your legs? Like all this aggression, this microaggressions, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I want to expose the wounded left, but it's also like you don't get to have this power over this word when it comes to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you own it now.
Yes.
Slay. Fashion is usually about fantasy. Yours feels more like an autobiography. Do you want audience to feel seduced, unsettled, or both?
It's a good question. I think I want them to feel something. You know what I mean? Like I the biggest insult for me as a designer, but as a creative, is somebody that came to a show of mine. Not that I had many, but like that was in contact with my work and felt, indifferent, like couldn't care less. No, I would rather them feel, you know, um, I don't think people feel disgusted with my work, but some people don't really get it, and that's fine. But I would rather that than people being indifferent.
You said intersex people are living proof that the binary is flawed. Do you see fashion as a tool to dismantle the binary, or is it still trapped in selling it?
I mean, depends really. Like, if you see fashion as a whole, I think it's, very much still enforcing these stereotypes, but some people need these stereotypes to feel like their life makes sense, but which is fine. But it's you're still gonna have a separation between the women's section and the men's section in clothing stores. That's not gonna go away anytime soon, and I don't think ever will. But then you have these niches of designers, who I think really push the idea forward, but it's never gonna be a thing of the masses, I think.